Optimism. What is it? You may have a base understanding of what optimism is, or you may know nothing about it. In this video, we are going to go deep into defining exactly what optimism is and a bit of what you can start to do to adopt this mindset. And don't forget to stay towards the end of the video where I give a full example of how I use optimism in my life. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, my name is Big Tuna. I am a streamer, a content creator, an optimistic person teaching you all on how to have an optimistic mind for all of humankind. Remember, if you like the video, please feel free to subscribe, hit that bell below. It helps support me a lot and will keep you updated on when I come out with new videos. So, the term optimism. It's quite a simple idea to comprehend, but it can also be quite a complex idea to use in a healthy manner. You hear me throwing around this word a lot and saying multiple times that I am an optimistic person, and while some of you watching this video may know about this term, or may even be an optimist yourself, there may also be a good chunk of you who have not heard of this term at all. The term optimism, as defined by Wikipedia, is a mental attitude reflecting a belief or hope that the outcome of some specific endeavor or outcomes in general will be positive, favorable, and desirable. A common idiom used to illustrate optimism versus pessimism is a glass filled with water to the halfway point. An optimist is said to see the glass as half full, while a pessimist sees the glass as half empty. Now I know what you're thinking, bringing up Wikipedia to define something? But actually, Wikipedia hit it right on the nail with this one. At least from my standpoint of someone who practices this mental attitude myself. They even went so far to include the ever-popular glass is half full versus half empty idiom. Optimists, as Wikipedia so cleverly puts it, always see the positives in life. Now, that is not to say they don't notice the negative effects as well, but they tend to focus more on the positive outcomes and what could be as being something that is more positive than negative. For example, I work as a video game tester. My company is an office building that I must drive to in order to do my job. But it's about an hour drive and my shift always starts during rush hour. Now, there has been a few times where I have been stuck in traffic on my way to work. A few of those times I have been late, but it did not affect my performance. And I did not get fired, and I've always had a great, enjoyable day at work. The reason for this outcome was optimism. Now, I can easily freak out in the car worrying about what my boss will say, how I'm going to make money if I get fired, why the traffic is so bad, and why life just hates me. But I do not, because that would not only put me in a bad, stressed out mood, which is unhealthy, but it would also affect my work performance because of this dread, self-doubt, and anger that I have of being late. Hell, it might even negatively affect how I interact with people, which could very well be my boss when I make it to work. This is also a good way to put me in a downward spiral of hatred for my job, my day, and potentially even my life. So no, I don't do this. As an optimist, I instead look at the positive things that could still happen. I look at the positive things that have already happened in the past that could potentially affect how people will respond if I do show up to work late. And finally, I look at the positive moments in my life that will get me away from this sort of negative mindset of being late. First, let's go over how I look at the positive things that could happen. 1, I'm making it to work today. Now, I know that may sound funny, but there are people out there that will sometimes just call out of work or just not show up at all if they think they're going to be late. They would rather not go to work at all, missing the money they need for bills, all because they are terrified they might have to a bit of confrontation with their boss. Now, I understand confrontation scares people, and believe me, it did for me as well for a long time in my past. Although nowadays, I no longer have this issue, which I will probably go over in another video because optimism played a good part in that issue. But anyways, back to my point. So, I am making it to work. Now, yes, I might have to talk to my boss, but then again, I might not have to. In the end, it does not matter. It's such a positive thing that I'm still making it to work when I am needed, even if I'm late. It shows that I have the courage, the determination to show up to work, and even though I'm gonna be late because of traffic. Determination, Undertale, let's go. I think to myself about this scenario, about how I can convince my boss that I was late because of traffic, that it will never happen again, although it could, but instead, let us think that it won't. I think about how I'm going to be making money today, and I think honestly, like, are they really gonna fire me over something as trivial as traffic? No, of course not. The worst that could happen is a stern talking to. And in the end, that does not matter. They are just words. Words cannot hurt me, and heck, all I have to do is work hard, not be late again, for a while, and my boss will probably forget an event like this ever happened. So that was a bit of the positive things that could happen. Now, let's move to the positive things in the past. This is where I think back to moments where I have worked hard at my job, where I've gone far and beyond what was called of me, and the positive relationships that I have built with my boss and coworkers. Thinking about these positive things help better support my previous discussion about positive things that could happen. Because more likely than not, my boss and coworkers are going to remember those things I did in the past. And it will be further evidence that I am a hard worker, a reliable worker, and a dedicated person. We all have bad days. We all have mistakes. We are all human. Just because I am late a few times because of traffic does not mean it erases everything else I have worked toward. And in my mind, I picture that my boss and coworkers are thinking the same thing. Finally, let us talk about other miscellaneous positive moments in my life that will cheer me up, put me in a great mood. First, I am alive and healthy. I am only stuck in traffic and late to work. It's not that bad. I could be dead. Now, I know, some might chuckle at how extreme that way of thinking is, but in truth, it's a common statement I use a lot when things go bad. At least I'm not dead. At least I'm still alive. Because what this means is that at least I still have opportunities to retry things, to continue onward, and to keep improving. Once you are dead, you are dead. There are no more chances and no do-overs. Other things I could think of are things like, even if I get fired by some extremely small chance, there are plenty more jobs available for me. So I can always find a new job. Or another one would be even as small as, hell, I'm driving to work today. I have clothes on my back. I slept in a bed today. Because there are plenty of people in the world that do not have that stuff. So always be grateful for the things you do have. And actually, that gives me an idea for another video to make in the future. So in conclusion, these forms of using optimism are my forms of using it. Everyone is different, and you might have your own ways of using an optimistic way of thinking the next time you are late for work or in another scenario like this. In fact, Let me know how you usually use optimism during these times down in the comments. I would love to read them. But hopefully this gives you a better picture or understanding of how I personally use optimism in scenarios like this. And maybe even gives you an idea of how you can start doing this yourself. The main thing to take away from this is that from optimism, I was able to take a bad scenario that could have made my day a horrible, ugly day, to which I just would want to end as soon as possible, to a bright and joyful day where I can focus on the positive outlooks on life and push aside the negative thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Once again, I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a therapist. I don't have a PhD in the field of the human mind. I am simply a man who looks at the glass as half full instead of half empty. So remember this video the next time you are late for work, or had a fight with your significant other, or lost your wallet. Because you can either freak out about the situation and fill your minds with a dark cloud, or you can stay calm and clear your minds up with a bright light, which will better help you find the pathways to the solution of your problem. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and got a better understanding about the optimistic mindset. But this is just one video in a whole channel about optimism, and there will be plenty more to explore about optimism, and even more ways you can start adopting this optimistic mindset. Thank you all for watching the video and sticking with me towards the end. If you have any questions that you would like to ask me about optimism, or you just want to hang out, you can catch me on Mixer at xbigtunex or Twitter at the same username. I look forward to hearing from you all, and will continue to do my part in breaking down the mindset of optimism. Have a positive and optimistic day. See you guys.